Hello, Matthew Williams here, bringing you a quick message to tell you about a phone call I had from Claire Perry's office. Not from Claire Perry, probably, if I make a guess, probably either intimidated in some stupid bloody way, because I'd complained to her office. Sorry, it's just ketamine, I mean snuff. Anyway, she said she took fit to get her secretary called Tamara to give us a call. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing this because it's a bit cold up here at the moment. It hasn't heated up yet. So, yeah, basically, rang me up because I made a complaint. And the reason I made a complaint is because I've written to her regarding the fracking issue. And I asked a couple of quite important questions. And she didn't get back in touch with me on the specific questions that I very clearly said, and I want an answer to these questions, you know, but didn't hear anything. So then I wrote asking for any dates and times where Claire was going to be speaking to the public, and pointed out that there was no information available on Claire's website at all telling you where Claire was going to be doing things. So other candidates have information on their websites, and Claire had nothing in the way of information on her website. So I was kind of guessing that maybe, possibly, that Claire doesn't like meeting the public in maybe a debate type environment, and with this in mind, this is why I was asking, you know, is she out there? Is she doing anything? Can the public meet her? And where will she be? You know? And I said that if I don't get a response within 5 days, that I will then put it in as a complaint, because I don't appear to be getting replies to, you know, questions I'm asking. So 5 days came and went, and then I put it in as a complaint. And lo and behold, you know, when you mention the word complaint, then suddenly people start to listen. And because I put it into the Conservative Party offices as well as the Conservative headquarters for the whole country, and, you know, then sent it to Claire as well, so I copied them in. Of course, she doesn't want to be seen to be, you know, not actually replying to people's questions. So I got this phone call, and Tamara said to me, you know, it's very unusual what you did with this Facebook thing. I'm aware that you put 30 comments on there, and I'm like, yeah. And she said, well, under any other circumstance, this would have been reported to the police. And I said, well, why would you report somebody commenting on somebody's Facebook to the police? Were my comments nasty, or were they, you know, threatening or something like that? I mean, if they weren't, then I can't see any reason why you would want to report that to the police. And she said, yes, but it's the number of them, it's the number of comments. And I said, yeah, but they were valid comments. I mean, if you look at them, some of them were humorous, some of them were making points. I said, you know, I made a point that nobody seems to be using her Facebook, even though she regularly posts on there. I posted a comment saying that she wrote down that she was ill, and a month passed and not one person out of her 150 that have got access to her Facebook, not one person commented to say get well soon. So, you know, with that being the case, it was my belief that possibly nobody was listening to what she was saying, you know, and there was no interaction. So I decided to comment. This is what I told Tamara. I decided to comment on a load of her posts because nobody else was. And Tamara said, well, it's just unreasonable. It's not something that people normally do, is it? And I said, well, no, actually, Tamara, I think you're wrong there. I think you're really quite, you know, in a different ballpark, because that is exactly what people do on your Facebook. They comment loads, or at least my friends do, because when I put something on Facebook, usually, sorry, I've got a bit of an itch here, usually there's lots of people respond to all my posts. And if you look at YouTube, you know, I got a YouTube channel, I put some silly videos up there, and people think they're humorous or want to know what my other opinions are on other things, so they go and look at my other videos. And I find that if somebody subscribes or somebody's interested in me, that I get message notifications, you know, that same person has been going ping, 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 ping through all my videos, and they've been leaving comments on all the different videos going, oh, I see what you're on about, ah ha ha ha, I didn't know you're into that, oh, that's great, what about this, ha ha ha. And, you know, people generally kind of respond to, it's a bit out of line, this, isn't it? There, that's a bit better. Anyway, I like this because it makes you look like you've got beagle ears, so you can just flap around. So, yeah, basically I said, I think you're wrong, Tamara. That is what people use social media for. And if Claire has got a social media page on Facebook and she doesn't want people to reply, then maybe she should have turned the reply function off. But for me to reply to a lot of her posts, actually giving her feedback, and then to have all those posts deleted, to me seems like excessive behaviour by somebody who appears like they can't take any criticism. And if she wants to run her Facebook by only allowing comments from people who are being complimentary, and then deleting any comments which may just, you know, slightly joke or deride, then this really says a lot about Claire Perry's inability to interface with the public. You know, because that's what people do. You know, that's what Facebook is about. And yeah, God, I'm itching on both sides here because I shaved earlier on, and makes you itch, doesn't it? It's horrible having to shave. Ugh. Anyway, so she said that Tamara had actually seen my video. She didn't say whether Claire had, but she said that she'd seen my video about the comments being taken down and the forensic, she called it a forensic analysis of all the comments that I was doing. And I said, yeah, well, that's because I found a lot of what was on the site quite funny and thought it would be good to comment on it. That's what I do. That's perfectly normal. And she's, you know, didn't seem like she was very impressed by it. And she said to me, so there we are then, right, so have I dealt with everything then? And I said, well, like what? You know, what have you dealt with, Tamara? And she said, well, like your question, so is that all I need to speak to you about? And I said, are you trying to say that by ringing me and us having this little chat now, that's it, everything is dealt with, so that you don't have to reply to the letter I sent you about the fracking and the other letter I sent you about the events? And she said, well, what would you like to know then? And I said, well, I would like to know what I asked you in the original letters. You do still have them, I said. And she said, yes, we've still got them. But could you send them in again and highlight the areas that you want us to answer? And I said, well, if you've already got them, they're not that long, and it does actually clearly state what I'm asking. I mean, you know, in an email where I say, can you please tell me all the events you are doing, and if you cannot get this back to me within 5 days, I will complain. That's pretty frigging small, excuse me language, but that's pretty flipping small, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's not something that I really should need to resend you, highlighting, can you send me details of the events? Okay, the fracking letter was a little bit longer, but basically the end question in the fracking letter, which is the thing I said, I really, really want an answer to this. Forget everything else I've written, but this is the thing I really want an answer to. If Claire Perry is so committed to fracking and telling everyone in the country that they should be part of this wonderful fracking thing, then would Claire Perry agree to be the very first house to be fracked underneath? In fact, she should invite the frackers, the fracking companies, that if they come to this area, that her house will be the first to be bored underneath, so that she can prove to all the other people that she is saying must have this in the area, because she is saying that it's a perfectly acceptable thing and that people must have this fracking, then surely she would accept having fracking under her house. So my question is, would she be the first to have fracking underneath her house? And she was saying she would put that forward. There was another question as well. Can't quite remember. Oh yes, the other question was, has she been hunting in the past, currently, or would she intend in the future to go hunting? Right? That was the question, because apparently she wants hunting to come back in. So, of course, we know that she just follows everything that Cameron says, and Cameron wants hunting in, so of course Claire Perry wants hunting in. So my question was designed to find out whether Claire Perry is actually into hunting herself, i.e. does she go hunting? And so those were the two questions, and I did narrow them out, and I singled them out at the end and said, these are the two questions I want answered. But apparently I have to send those back now to their office in order to get these answered. So I will do that. But, it's interesting that I think Tamara thought that this was all just going to go away. And I think that in some respects she wanted to imply to me that what I had been doing in commenting on Claire's Facebook was in some way threatening. So this came up towards the end a second time during the conversation, and I said, look, as far as I'm concerned, if you consider this to be some form of threatening behaviour, because this is the way I was kind of understanding the conversation we were having. And I said, if you think that this is some sort of threatening behaviour, I said you should report it to the police and you should have them investigate, because I believe that you're overreacting, and I don't think the police would see it as threatening at all. And I said, if I were you, I would be more threatened by having Sun journalists going to Claire's house, and I said where the place was, because I know where her house is. But I said, those journalists identified Claire's house and where she currently lives. Now, I've never done that. I've never, even though I know where it is, I've never stated it in a video, or I've never put it on the Facebook page that we're doing, and I've never revealed that, because I would find that a little bit of an invasion of, personal space, by revealing information which somebody then may want to use to kind of maybe do something to you. And I mean, I don't want my address put out there because of me being who I am, for the same reason. It's just, it's a polite thing to do. So I've refrained from that. Now, I have actually published details of where Claire used to live, but seeing as she nor her husband live there anymore, as the house has been sold, then it's fair game, considering the house was put up on estate agents' websites. Then that's perfectly fair game to show that. But like I said to Tamara, I would think that the Sun newspaper are actually revealing where she lives, and we're talking about a village that only has about 20 houses in it, maybe, I could be wrong, but about 20 houses in that village. That, identifying her like that, and then saying, she lives in this big mansion and she's got 3 cars on the drive, and describing which cars she has on the drive. So it kind of helps people identify exactly where she lives. I said I would have thought that would have been more threatening than me doing a debate page which opens up questions which the public probably want to talk about, want to know more about. That is just debate. And I said, look, you have to take me, unfortunately, like it or loathe it, as a journalist. So I am doing what the Sun are doing, and I am journalising and debating Claire Perry and her activities. I said, so you should treat me and think of me in the same way as you think of a journalist. And if you haven't reported the Sun to the police for their stalking or threatening type of activities, then I don't see what right or what need there is to report somebody like me. But if you feel the need to do so, please don't let me stop you, because, let them do their investigation, and we will, cooperate with that, and I don't think there's going to be much to say. But anyway, Tamara, sort of realised that she wasn't getting any purchase with her kind of veil threat that, you know, this could have been dealt with by the police, i.e. maybe I should back off type of thing, which of course I'm not going to do. So if you're watching this one, Claire and Tamara, sorry, but you're an MP, a political candidate who's coming up for an election, and I think the public have got a little bit of a right to know a bit more about what your policies are, a bit more about what sort of person you are, i.e., you know, the character of the type of person that they may wish to vote or not vote for. And that's why I've been collating a lot of information and putting it on the Facebook page. I did say to Tamara as well that I have started a political party which is hopefully going to stand against Claire in the next election. So I said, you know, she could expect a lot more of me challenging her on her positions, because that's what people in political parties do. They kind of, you know, find out the strengths and weaknesses of other candidates, and they make people aware of these weaknesses, because they're not things that these MP candidates would want to do themselves. So, all fair game. So we shall see what happens with this one, but I'm going to send my fracking letter and other inquiries back off, and we'll see whether or not, now that I have complained, you see, which has caused this reaction from Miss Perry, that we shall see where this goes, and I hopefully will get an answer this time. But I'm starting to get an idea that Claire possibly doesn't like to be confronted by her constituents. So, thanks for watching.